Grand Rising loves. This is the altar spread for the collective today. The sacred geometry that showed up is hexagon, but hexagon showed up in the reverse. So hexagon brings the message of seeing all that is beautiful and perfect around you, being able to witness tiny miracles, which are actually the manifestation of the divinity that's within you, outside of you. But in the reverse, it's saying, have you fallen into a place where all you are witnessing is doom and gloom, darkness and destruction, chaos, pain, and now you can spiral because you're not even able to glimpse the perfection and beauty that surrounds you. So here's my suggestion. If you're in your living space, right, that's your sacred sanctuary, do a 360. What is the most beautiful thing you see in that space? How do you feel in that space? And if you cannot find something of beauty in that space to remind you how perfect you are, step outside. Do a 360, take a deep breath. And if you cannot see something of miraculous beauty outside of your sanctuary, in your own environment, you need to call on reinforcements. And this card actually says that, seek help. Here's the thing, when you've become so bogged down with transformation and change, and you've been resistant to your own healing journey, everything will start to transform, everything. And usually that happens by destruction so that it can reconstruct. And so in that space, it would be very easy to spiral and lose yourself. So it is important to reach out to someone, a friend, an elder, someone who you consider a healer, and seek that guidance. It is very important. And if you want to seek me, I know a lot of you that watch this have my phone number and have actually texted me, and I'm so honored that you trust me. Thank you. You can also direct message me through my website, divinityin.me, and that's your lifeline. So don't hesitate. And Ghost Dance showed up, and I love this because check out the synchronicity of that number, right? The 22. Angel number of 22 talks about the harmonizing of relationship. So it could be friendships, work relationships, intimate relationships, but the 22 talks about harmonizing that. And the message of the Ghost Dance is calling in the ancestors, that there was this formidable resilience of our ancestors, that people have survived this earth plane through all kinds of trials. And you can call on that powerful energy to help usher you through these darker times. And it says, light a candle, create an altar space. And so I have my candle lit, and this is actually the Chingona candle made by my girl, Stephanie Heath. Smells amazing. It's really spicy. It's got some clove smell to it. And so I lit that with the intention of harnessing that Chingona energy for myself, from my ancestors. And it's a very powerful candle. Last time I've got one of these candles from her, it was transformative. And so this Mars, the tail end now of this Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde, Chingona would be a very good energy for me to harness. And so Convergence showed up, the chiastolite, also known as crossstone, and it's also known as andosite or something like that. I'm probably butchering it. But this be she. Isn't she pretty? This one actually is on my person daily. So this is my personal one that I actually carry. I also have bigger ones that I use for my healing space, but this one's very special. I'm connected with her deeply. So this stone talks about bringing in all the parts, right? Convergence. It's also a very protective stone, so I wear that daily, but it also calls in, because my work is very shamanistic, that I call in all the elements and the four corners. And so this represents all of that, the medicine wheel. But convergence is about seeing that all of these events that happened that may seemingly feel unrelated actually have a purpose for the bigger picture. So Crossstone always tells you to look at the bigger picture and see how everything is intricately created for the betterment of you, and that they are all related in this web. And that's the matrix, right? All of these experiences are actually related, even though they don't feel like it. And it is for that end result. Everything happens for our evolution, for our ascension, so that we can eventually transcend these physical bodies. So everything happens for that. And that's powerful, because when we learn that and accept it, we don't have attachment to anything, and we allow ourselves to experience experiences instead of trying to control experiences. There's a huge difference. The control is all about wanting to feel safe. And I've been there, most especially in intimate settings, that when I start to feel things getting a little out of control, you grasp at that, especially if you're with an unsafe using ass male or an unsafe toxic ass female. For those men that are watching, you tend to want to control it. Yes, because in your deepest knowing, you know that they're a fraud, and you are trying to backstep and not let yourself slip into those deepest levels of surrender, because honestly, they don't deserve that. And so you should pay attention to those spidey senses, to that deep intuition. So some of it is trauma response, but then some of it is deep discernment. And you really need to listen to it deeply, because listening to it deeply not only helps you heal the trauma response, but honor the discernment. And when you really let yourself sit in it in that deep way, you'll know which way. You know which is being shown to you, because it becomes really clear. And you can step if you need to, or you can soften if you need to. So Ayana Vision, the way of the divine feminine revealed, also showed up, and I love this because that talks about the surrender, right? The way of the divine feminine. But check out that angel number 11, and that brings the message of divinity is backing you. So we are being watched in every moment. We are being witnessed. We're being encouraged. We're being cheered in every single moment. And that is so beautiful. But this talks about feeling into that nurturing and love, and you will be moving into that. So if things have been feeling really out of sorts, like hexagon, the reverse hexagon has talked about, and you need to call on help from the ancestors and see the bigger picture, that all of it has a meaning and a purpose for you, that you are going to be moving into love. You will be moving into a greater period of nurturing and love. Deep, deep love. Divine love. Sacred love. Which is really the only kind that I'm interested in. So I promised that I would share my focus wheel. I talked to a couple of my girls last night, And if you saw yesterday's video, you saw that there was a little bit of resistance in the burning, and I wanted to find a way that I could actually combine that focus wheel, because I feel like I did well, but there were some aspects of it that could use some tweaking and revisiting. But I also wanted to move into a deeper level of self-worth, which is really like inner child healing. That's really old shit. But it's also the soul memory that's older than Sherry. And so healing those core divine feminine wounds that I'm also working on. So I promised I would share my focus wheel. So today is the official new moon. And so the center should always be your big goal, right? So I am worthy. And you always say it first person, present, possessive, like it's already done. I am worthy. And I do deeply know my worth, but there's specific environments and situations that press on those old core traumas. And so this is the focus wheel that's about that. So last focus wheel, if you saw yesterday's video, was about speaking my desires into the universe, like being clear about it, because when you're clear about it, the universe delivers. But boundaries are huge for me. So that's where I feel like I was lacking. So my boundaries speak my worth, right? So not to be like gray about it. It's black or white, right? Because I really do know what I want. And I know what is worthy of sharing space with me, but I let my guard down. I accept only experiences that honor my worth. I surround myself with people who recognize my worth. I trust my discernment. I create boundaries from the present, not potential. And this is a really big one for me, because especially for male partners, I tend to do that. He has great potential, and he's nowhere near being worthy of me the moment he shows up. And that's not arrogant or egoic. It's just fact. And I tend to get laxed on that. And I know why I tend to get laxed on that, because literally there's maybe 1% of people walking the face of the earth that experience the world the way I do. And so it feels sometimes very lonely, I guess, as far as experiences. And so I always hope, like, wow, I need a really conscious male that operates from like a 10D level. Does that exist? And he has to be uber masculine too, because there's a lot of spiritual males that aren't. And I understand that they get stuck in the emotion because they learn how to process their emotion. It's so beautiful, but you have to go beyond that and then reclaim that really powerful male energy, and without being a dickhead. I am first choice. I am perfection vibrating as a human. Love is infinitely worthy. So me vibrating as pure love, of course I'm worthy. Love is always worthy. I am love. My worth is never questionable. It is a given. Even in stillness, I am worthy. And that's a huge one for women, because we've been taught that we have to earn our worth, right? So we're always basing our worth in how we care for others. And so we tend to be very people-pleasing, and that's self-deprecating, truly. And even in my deep work, when I'm doing that shadow, dark, underworld ugliness, I am worthy. Even in that, I am worthy. So this is my focus wheel for this new moon month. And what I do is I hang that somewhere where I can see it every day. So I normally hang it inside the cabinet or in my bathroom, so that when I shower and I'm getting ready for every day, I get to read it to myself. I read it back to myself, and I am constantly reminding myself of that. This is what I'm working on. I don't tend to manifest material things. I'm always working on those aspects of myself. How can I evolve? Because honestly, I want to shed this skin and get back. So that's the spread for the day. Really see the bigger picture, and if it's feeling like out of control and just harsh right now, know that there are resources, and don't lose hope. Always have hope. You are a divine being. You are so deserving of beautiful divine experiences. And so when everything is getting shaken to shit and deconstructing, it's because it's preparing for the reconstruction of something phenomenal. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me.